Sniping in Battlefield 1 is a lot different to what it was in BF4. Now I know if you were good in Battlefield 4, the chances are you're going to be very good in Battlefield 1, but if you're coming over from a different game, or if you've never sniped before and this is kind of a first experience, if you like, to sniping, then this video is really going to help you out. I've been playing the sniper class a lot recently, and maybe it's down to the fact that sniping is way more accessible in this Battlefield game than it ever has been, but personally I think it's because the maps lend themselves more to sniping a lot of the time. If I'm playing a map like Argonne Forest, I definitely don't run the sniper class, I'm always running as an assault or a medic. But if I'm playing on a map such as Suez, as you can see in the background in operations, sniping is a lot of fun. The gameplay you see in the background was a 27 kill streak using the SMLE Mark III Marksman. This gun is by far my favourite sniper, it's the one I've had the majority of kills with, and as you can see in the background, if you line up the headshots and get yourself in the right position, you are going to be racking up some serious kill streaks. Now a couple of tips and tricks that I'd like to recommend for anyone who's starting out with the scout class is to make sure that you know the sniper rifle that you're using. By that I mean that you know the scope, you know how much damage you're going to be doing at different distances, you know how many bullets you're going to have in it, because remember some have 10 and some have 5, and you just understand the weapon as best you can. Now the only thing you can do to fix this is with practice, and trust me, it makes a big difference if you know the difference between the sniper rifle you're using. For example, if I was using the Martini Henry, the one that people have been calling the elephant gun, I would not have the same playstyle as if I'm using the gun that you can see in the background. Now again, if I was using a Russian 1895 marksman, I wouldn't be playing the same style because it's only got 5 bullets. Maybe I'd choose to have a slightly different playstyle, especially as the damage model is slightly different with snipers as well. Now the second tip I'd like to add, and this is possibly the most important, make sure that you're in a position where you're not going to get sniped yourself. You'll notice that a lot of snipers, especially ones that are new to the franchise, run to the top of the tallest tower or go to a spot on the map where they think they've got a good vantage point on everybody else and will start sniping, and then when I spot them in the distance, they're lying prone and they're the easiest headshot I'm ever going to have. A way to avoid this is to keep yourself on the move and look at the minimap for where the enemies are located, or even at the big map for where the enemies are located. If you notice that all the enemies are located on one side of the map, try and get a slight flank on them so they're not looking at you and you're looking at them. You saw this at the start of the video and how effective it can actually be. I destroyed half of their enemy team. And trust me, I'm not a great sniper, not at all. It's just knowing where to position yourself that is so important. In addition to this, making sure that you have plenty of cover and somewhere to retreat to at all times is essential. As you can see in the background now, I'm locating myself around the side of this landship and I have the trenches behind me to protect me. Not many of my teammates are here, and you might think, well, I'm not in the action. But look at the two objectives. I'm protecting Bravo and I'm doing my team a favour. The moment I see the flag starts to go, I get in there. Now that kill with the Mars automatic brings me on to your choice of secondary. I would really recommend running with the Mars automatic. Essentially it's the Deagle from Battlefield 4. You can run with other pistols, but I think this handgun is possibly the best. It deals great damage, it's good at one-on-ones against other infantry, and you will find yourself picking up some nice kills if you're good with your headshots. What about the armour in Battlefield 1 when you're a sniper? Well, there's not really too much you can do with that. Even if you're running the small light anti-tank grenade, you can't really take out tanks on your own. K-bullets can annoy vehicles, but they can't really do too much damage. So what I suggest there is make sure you're in a squad with plenty of variety. You don't want to be 5 snipers. There's no point in all 5 of you being on a hill and going for the same kills. I've located myself in a squad with some randoms. I don't know any of these guys, but it's worked fairly well. I get revived once or twice in this streak. The assault players helped me take down the tank, as you saw that landship earlier got annihilated before he could get on the flag, but again I was there to help out clear out the infantry beforehand. As you can see in the background now, I've got myself another position and I'm making use of the spotting mechanic in the game. The red little dots on top give you a load of information. They tell you where the player is, they highlight exactly where they are on the map, they tell you what they're running as, and they tell you whether they're moving or not, because you can actually see that if the red dot is moving. Similar to the Dorito triangle that we saw in Battlefield 4, these little red dots have a little more information behind them. Choosing the target that you're going to shoot is also very important. As I've mentioned in previous videos, target acquisition is essential. If you see somebody in the background who's moving very fast and someone who's laying prone on the floor, your easiest shot is the guy laying prone. If you see two people running straight at you, one of which has a shotgun and the other of which is a scout, and they're at close range, I'm going to go for the guy with the shotgun first. Again, if I see two people at range, one is an assault, one is a scout, I'm going to go for the scout first because I know the scout has a bigger chance of killing me. It's that target acquisition that you can apply to any class and any vehicle across the whole Battlefield franchise, and that's what separates the good players from those who struggle. I also want to add that the flare gun in this game is very, very useful. You can help your team out just by firing those into the distance. They will put a little spotting thing on the map, as you'll see several times through this video, and enemies will be spotted. You get similar things in the attack plane with certain loadouts as well. So to summarise, make sure you know the sniper that you're using, make sure you practice with it and you understand how the sniper behaves in different situations. Make sure that you know the secondary that you're running with. If you think that the Mars automatic is the best gun for you as it is for me, then definitely use it. Again, you might want to try this out a couple of times because you don't really know how it's going to perform when you get right into the thick of it and you're being pushed by an enemy until you've tried it. Make sure that you're spotting enemies and using your flare gun. Remember, tapping Q on your keyboard will do the same job, but sometimes a flare gun will do a lot more enemies at once and do a better job for you. Also making sure that you use the spotting mechanic to your advantage. Having somebody highlighted in a big red dot is a lot easier than if they're not, so think of how you can help your team out. Talking of your team, make sure you locate yourself in a good squad. Being in a good squad can really help you out in those situations where you want to stay alive and work as a team. Finally, I'd like to add, do not camp. Camping is the worst way to be a sniper. Yes, there are situations where sitting behind a rock and waiting for enemies or sniping a couple of guys in the distance is the best approach, but most of the time getting onto an objective and trying to be that guy who's just holding off enemies with your sniper rifle and flanking them and taking them out that way is the best approach you can have to a game of Battlefield. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below and let me know any tips and tricks that you have for the Scout in Battlefield 1. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.